Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I am excited to have you here for this one. This is a topic that I've honestly been feeling really guilty about ever since I started making videos again a few months ago, because the last that we kind of talked about this topic, I was doing a very different skincare routine from what I've been doing currently. I've been getting a lot of comments from people saying that my skin looks great, and I'm not going to disagree with you, okay? I accept the compliments. Thank you. I wanted to make this video today because about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I just completely ruined my freaking skin with skincare. Like, I was trying to do the right thing, I was listening to the advice of other people, and I just annihilated my skin. Today I am coming to you completely makeup free just because I want to be transparent and honest about what my skin actually does look like. I don't want to have like really high standards that people try to hold themselves up to, and it turns out it's just like makeup and lighting. So I want to be really clear, like I have pores. It's a moral failing on my part. No, I have pores. I have like wrinkles developing. I have some collagen depletion because I'm in my 30s now. Like, I have acne scars. I have active acne pimples in some places. It is what it is. Just for a little context, I have never had great skin. I had acne all through my teens and into my 20s. My parents always said like, oh, it's genetic, we had it, like it'll just go away when you turn like 18 or 19. Well, it didn't. If anything, it just got worse the older I got. It wasn't until I kind of radically shifted my diet, and it felt radical at the time, but it was just moving into like a whole food, plant-based style of eating. It wasn't until I did that that my skin really started to clear. So it was obvious to me that my diet was really affecting my skin. Additionally, around the same time that I changed my diet, I also just gave up using skincare. I think anyone who has experienced acne knows that when you have acne, you try everything, like every product, every active ingredient that is suggested, even marginally suggested to be helpful for acne. Like, you've done it, you've tried it, you've spent the money, you've invested the time, you have tried your best to get rid of this issue. So when I changed my diet, I gave up skincare and I stopped wearing makeup, and it was really difficult to like go out in public and be barefaced while my acne was healing. Definitely some hardcore lessons in self-love for sure. Which brings us to a few years ago. I was starting up YouTube. I was starting to get advice from other people about how to take care of my skin. I was watching other videos from other influencers, and I decided to take some of those suggestions because I totally developed skincare FOMO. I was like, oh my god, am I not doing enough for my skin? Like, what if I get older and I end up with like wrinkles and a ton of sagging? I'm just gonna kick myself for not having done more. So I started taking the advice. I started buying specific products. Like, I always tried to buy clean, good products to use on my skin. Things that contained like hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, alpha hydroxy acids, and like the really healthy skin oils. I was also dabbling in some homemade concoctions, which in hindsight was probably a mistake because I didn't pay enough attention to like pH balance and such. And initially when I was making this shift, my skin looked pretty darn good. But then over time, I started noticing like moisture issues in my skin. You know, I'd smile and I could like feel the crinkles across my cheeks. I could feel my eyes crinkle. I could feel my forehead move when I would express myself. And I'm not looking to get Botox or anything, so that wasn't an option. So what I looked for was like, how do I get moisture into my skin more and better? So I started using like more hyaluronic acid. I started spending money on better quality hyaluronic acid. I was researching like molecular size of hyaluronic acid and what you have to do to really, you know, pull that moisture into your skin. I was using more and more expensive moisturizers to try to like lock it in and keep it good, but the issue just kept getting worse. Then I started noticing like crepiness in my skin. So like, I'd smile and my skin would look crepey, and I was like, that's really not a good sign. Like, this is terrible. I looked it up, you know, the suggestion was to do like micro needling and such, which I didn't feel 100% comfortable doing, but I also wasn't comfortable with what was happening to my skin. So then I started noticing melasma. I was getting like dark discolorations on my forehead and on my upper lip, and like on my cheeks. I couldn't understand why, you know, because I was using the vitamin C creams and the alpha hydroxy acids that were supposed to help with this. I also started developing like really bad acne, like the really deep cystic acne on my face that I hadn't experienced since I was a teenager and had changed my diet. All of this was really disheartening, and the more that I explored, the more I just got like more skincare advice to incorporate more products and more active ingredients into my skincare, and I was really overwhelmed by that. I ended up spending a lot of time and a lot of money to fix this problem that just seemed to keep getting worse. The other major suggestion that I kept seeing was like, hey, it's your hormones. Your hormones are messed up. That's why your skin is dry. That's why you're breaking out, and that's why you're getting the melasma. And so all of this really had me starting to ask questions, understandably so, like, is it my hormones? Are my hormones messed up even though like my cycle is better than it's ever been? Totally freaking predictable and painless. Is it my diet? Like, is my diet destroying my skin? Am I eating too many carbohydrates? And as I was exploring and searching kind of desperately at this point for answers, I started getting into suggestions to do like skin laser resurfacing to try to build up that collagen again and you know, get rid of that outer layer of dry skin. I started looking into doing professional microneedling treatments. And it was honestly really overwhelming because these are like painful treatments that have fairly significant recovery times, and it's a lot of damage done to your skin. Also, like, oh my God, the price, how am I supposed to afford all of this stuff? There's also the fact that I couldn't even have those treatments until my acne had cleared up. And when my acne started getting so much worse than it ever had been, I started thinking like, okay, well, I tried the acne specific products like the salicylic acid and the benzoyl peroxide. I tried that when I was younger when my diet was really bad, and they didn't do anything then, but maybe now that my diet is really good and not aggravating my acne, maybe these products would actually have a beneficial effect. So I got some good high quality products that contained the salicylic acid and the benzoyl peroxide. I used them as directed. The effect that they had on my skin was just awful. Particularly the benzoyl peroxide. I would put it on areas that were breaking out, and it's like I would wake up in the morning and it would look a little bit better, but it felt like the infection was so much deeper in my skin, and then those pimples that I treated ended up staying around for weeks, going into months. It was just really painful and annoying, as I'm sure anyone who's in their 30s and has acne knows. Like, you know the pain. So at some point I had actually booked microneedling treatment, and then I was planning to do like some skin lasering treatments as well to try to address this issue. And I was sitting in the sauna one day at my gym trying to sweat the toxins out so that my acne would go away. And I was listening to an audiobook called An Elegant Defense. It's about the immune system, and they were in the chapter talking about cancer. And it mentioned one study where scientists had like inoculated animals with cancerous cells. And then what that study found was that the cancerous cells would like aggregate on, and they would only start growing in the body on the needle injection site. And so it was like where a needle had punctured the skin, that was where the cancer was most likely to start growing. It's almost like there had to be some kind of damage to the skin in order to initiate that cancer growth. Obviously, that study isn't a perfect reflection for how cancer is initiated in a real body, you know, but it definitely made me stop and think, like, I just booked a treatment to get literally thousands of needle punctures done to my face. That seems like a problem. So that led me into a Googling vortex of like, can microneedling of the skin increase cancer development? And that question led me to the blog of a skincare company. And I just realized that I didn't Google anything about how to pronounce the skincare company's name. And I'm up at my shack in the woods where I don't have internet, so it's not happening now. So the company's name, in my potential butchering, is Oumere. Oumere. That's how I always say it to myself in my head. Oumere. Oumere? I don't know. Whatever. My Googling led me to this blog, and the author of the blog, who is also the creator of the skincare line, she just mentioned that like microneedling could potentially increase the odds for the development of cancer. Hearing what I had just heard about these certain scientific studies and knowing that microneedling is just insane damage to the skin, which can obviously increase photosensitivity from the sun. If you're not careful, I could easily see how that kind of amount of damage could lead to a higher risk of developing cancer in the skin. So I read like virtually every single blog post that she had written. She went into issues with hyaluronic acid, how hyaluronic acid does attract water, but it goes onto your skin and then it actually draws moisture out of your skin cells. And I was like, of course, that makes sense from like a chemistry perspective. It also reflects my experience with feeling like my skin was just getting more and more dry the more I was using hyaluronic acid. She also had a post about how topical vitamin C is actually really terrible for your skin and causes skin damage and can aggravate things like melasma instead of clearing them up as it claims to do. That had certainly been my experience as well. She talked about how using these products actually leads to a breakdown of collagen in your face, which is definitely what it seemed like I was experiencing. The changes in my skin that had developed so quickly over the span of time that I was using these skincare products that were supposed to be, you know, like top of the line stuff. So anyway, after reading all of those blog posts, of course, the next thing I did was like look at what she was selling me, you know, because that's the thing that I always question when someone gives me their opinion is like, what are you selling me? So I went to the shop portion of her website and was horrified to discover that she had like the most expensive skincare products for sale. I think I saw them and then I cried because I was like, this woman obviously knows what she's talking about. I feel like these products would be able to help me. She's describing the issues that I have been facing with my skin, and I am just like so disappointed and confused. And really, anyone who has acne and wrinkles in their 30s, like, you just know how crappy it feels. I don't care how much self-love and skin positivity you pile on top of that, it's just disheartening. So what I decided to do was to just stop all of my skincare cold turkey. It was like best case scenario, it just wasn't doing anything. Worst case scenario, it was actively damaging my skin. I also 100% canceled the microneedling and lasering plan. That was done. And then I just spent a month and a half fretting about how expensive the skincare was. I was really concerned that if I bought it, if I splurged and it just made my skin worse, like every other skincare product I had been spending my very hard-earned money on, I would just be devastated. But after like a month and a half, my skin wasn't really improving in any significant way, and certainly like the moisture issues and the crepiness and like the loss of collagen and the acne scars were not showing much improvement. So I decided to splurge and I purchased the luxuriant set from Oumere. And then the day that it arrived, I started using it. I read about the transitions. I knew that it wasn't necessarily going to be easy switching to the chemical exfoliants that she uses. They're really gentle, large molecule chemical exfoliants so that they only help to slough the very top layer of skin. Alpha hydroxy acids like glycolic acid that have smaller molecules actually are able to penetrate deeper in the skin, and most skincare experts talk like that's a good thing. But what it does is those molecules get deep into the skin and then actually end up killing cells that are still alive, and that causes skin damage. That, along with using things like vitamin C and doing things like microneedling, can break down collagen and build up scar tissue in such a way that over the course of time you actually end up getting more skin aging and more sagginess. So anyway, as I transitioned onto these chemical exfoliants, like, my face looked disgusting. I don't like to talk crap about my face, but it looked disgusting. It looked like literally every single pore on my skin was clogged and like purging. It was not pretty. I was honestly so embarrassed that I didn't even take pictures. I was so hopeless at this point that I didn't want to document the process because it was just so disheartening and painful. And then since I had been like abusing my skin for many months at this point and exposing it to pretty harsh chemicals, the oil production in my face was off the charts. It was like a grease slick. But then as I remained consistent using the products from the Luxuriant set, using the whole line, I noticed immediately, like within days, that the moisture issue was no longer an issue. Like, when I smile now, I can't feel my skin. I can't feel the skin around my eyes, around my cheeks, my forehead. Like, it just feels moisturized. There's no stress or tension there from a lack of moisture. I also noticed that the pitted scars that were on my cheeks from the real deep cystic acne was starting to fill in. My skin was feeling like really nice and plump. I love the way it feels now. I noticed that the melasma was starting to fade really nicely. I still have a couple of patches on my forehead where my hat rubs when I'm doing yard work, but like the real dark melasma that was on the top of my lip has mostly faded. Like, it's still there a little bit. It might always be, but certainly not enough to cause me to be self-conscious about it. The acne scars that I had, the red scars, have just faded really well. And even when I do still have breakouts, like, they don't last as long, and the scars, the marks fade so fast. And I know that that's a reflection of my skin being much healthier and able to regenerate. And so I've been really pleased with the way my skin has been able to recover from the damage that I did by using traditional skincare products. So I'm really grateful that I was able to like backpedal the damage, and that wasn't going to be something that just continued to accumulate. Like I said, I've been using these products for about 1 year and 4 months, and I'm still noticing improvements. Like, I feel like my skin looks better every day when I wake up. The clarity of it, the evenness of my skin tone, you know, considering that I'm not wearing makeup right now, like I'm really satisfied with this. As far as pros and cons of the Oumere products, I really love that every single ingredient that is included in these products is evidence-based and has been highly tested. Like, the research and development stage of these products is really incredible. And I especially love the ingredients in the UVR. That is my ride or die holy grail skincare product that I hope to be able to use for the rest of my life. Like, the UVR is the crowning glory of anything that I have ever put on my skin. I cannot recommend it highly enough. What I also love about these products is that while they are really, really expensive, you literally only need a few drops and it covers your entire face. Often, like, anything that's left over that I've applied to my face, I still have some on my hands, and I can like treat my neck and chest with that. A little bit goes a long, long, long way. So like the Luxuriant set that I bought, it's supposed to last about 6 months. And I didn't do this on purpose by using less. Like, I feel like I was using plenty of it. That whole set lasted me over a year. And like I said, I didn't do that on purpose because I know that preservatives and products are really only supposed to last a certain amount of time, and it's supposed to be like 6 months. And so I'm not going to suggest to use it for longer than the manufacturer recommends. I'm just saying that that's how it ended up working out for me, and I didn't notice any issues with it. Another thing that I love about these products are the bottles that they come in. So everything is chemistry grade glass, and I really appreciate that because the way that certain products interact with their packaging can actually be an issue with some skincare products that come in, like, say, plastic. I also really love that you can take the big bottle and then you can actually refill these smaller glass bottles that come with the product, and then they have these great dripper heads. So you can like really just specifically get exactly the amount that you need without contaminating your big bottle. These also make it so easy to just keep all of my skincare in the drawer next to my bed, and I don't have to have like big bottles out everywhere. It also keeps the big bottles nice and safe. So that allows me to just like keep all of the products inside the box. And then I slowly, you know, tip out what I need into these smaller application bottles that will last me anywhere from like a week to 10 days. And then of course, I also want to be mindful of discussing some of the cons of these products. Obviously, I would say that the price is the top one. Like they're just so expensive. I do understand that quality costs money, and research and development costs a lot of money, and manufacturing products at a very high standard in the United States using safe, responsibly sourced, high quality ingredients takes money. So I understand that, and that is why I am happy to pay for this. Because it has had such a positive effect on the quality of my skin and helped me to heal from the damage that I did do to my skin, not only through skincare, but also with just like years of careless sun exposure. The other issue with these products is that not all of them are 100% vegan, to the best of my knowledge and understanding. Like the serum Biolume has elastin protein, which is marine derived. I do generally try to avoid skincare products that include animal products in them. As far as I can tell from reading the ingredients, most of the other products, aside from the serum Biolume, do not utilize animal sourced ingredients, and none of them are tested on animals. For my purposes, and I know that this won't go over well with vegans, that was good enough for me, and I was fucking desperate. Like, I was fucking desperate. Excuse my French. The only other note I have on the cons list is that I live in a very humid environment. And due to the humidity, when I use these products, I 100% leave the house looking like a glazed donut. I'm not totally sure if it looks like my skin is just like super oily and unwashed to other people. I don't know, but I know that I am aware that my skin is very shiny, exceptionally shiny. I mean, I feel like it looks great. It looks great and shiny. It is protected and nourished and shiny, so I accept it, it's fine. But I know that some people might not be okay with that. I have noticed that in the times when I do wear makeup, which is pretty much exclusively for when I'm filming videos, I don't want to put the more oily product on top of my face before I apply the makeup, because it just seems to me like it would get kind of gunky. I have found that since they came out with their sunscreen, the Skin Luxe, and I was able to get it before it went out of stock like 16 times. Using that, it seems like it almost helps to diminish the oily or shiny appearance. So right now I do have the sunscreen on top of the full range of Oumere products, and this is like, I feel like it's not looking too shiny at all. It's nice dewy. All right, you guys, thank you for watching. I do want to wrap up by just acknowledging that, like, I have shared skincare practices in the past, and I honestly feel really guilty about that because they ended up not serving me. I feel like I didn't do my research properly to be able to offer you guys suggestions that were, like, properly evidence-based and well vetted. I took other people's word for it too much. And I regret it for my own experience, but I really regret that I shared that with you guys. I also do want to mention that this brand, Oumere, they do not work with social media influencers. Like, I've bought everything with my own money. They have no idea that I'm making this video. This is just an honest review of what has worked for me. I also, I know that it's not totally my responsibility. Like, everybody can do whatever they want with their own lives and their own finances, but like, I am sorry for recommending something that's so expensive. I have decided to spend my money and splurge on this skincare. It's officially the only thing that touches my skin, and honestly, looking back on it, I can't say that it is that much more expensive than what I ended up spending on all of my skincare combined. It's certainly much cheaper than getting like lasering and microneedling treatments. So I'm sorry that this recommendation is not going to be accessible to everyone. I wish that it was. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Please, please feel welcomed and encouraged to leave me comments down below. I'll do my best to answer. And as always, until next time, make better choices for yourself. No one will do it for you, and take really, really good care. I will see you all very soon. Bye. Okay, this is a makeup-free video, Lily, so you should err on the side of being completely washed out by the lighting. You know the rules of YouTube. Okay, start this moment before it starts to frizz.